Welcome everybody to our today's lunchtime talk about what's new in BlueSpice 5. For those who might not know me, my name is Verena Hösel and I'm working as a product manager at the Hallo Welt GmbH. I also brought a small or more big agenda regarding the topics I would like to guide you through. And I think we can start right away. The BlueSpice 5 release is a major release, and as usual, a major release also includes new technology. Our goal is to keep our software up to date and prevent security gaps, as well as achieving better performance. And regarding the details, the BlueSpice 5 is based on the new MediaWiki long-term support version, which is 1.43. We do have a compatibility with PHP 8.4, and also this version includes the Semantic MediaWiki version 5. What is so special about this major release? Well, we internally decided to introduce a BlueSpice long-term support version also. This means with the release of the BlueSpice 5.1 long-term support version, we will offer support bug fixes for 2 years. At the time when the release is officially published. We also have improved our software regarding the language topics. So there will be a multi-language and language transfer with BlueSpice 5. The objective is to support the user in both in translating and transferring content to other language instances. This means that there will be a leading language instance from which further language variants can be derived of. As an example, you decide to configure the English instance as your main language instance, and then you're able to translate and transfer the content from the English instance into, for example, German, French, or whatever language instance is there. This feature also includes a translation dictionary as well as a translation glossary. There is the difference between those two is that the translation dictionaries focus on the page titles and the translation glossary focus on terms. Why did we do that? So we thought that in the context of different companies, there might be fixed terms which should be used, and the translation itself is based on the depot service. So depot translates maybe titles or terms differently. So the user would be able to define the terms within the wiki, and on each translation, these terms are used. Depends if you defined it for the page titles or the terms themselves. Also, there is a namespace mapping available by using the configuration manager, which means that you can also add a matching term to a namespace name. This is also or is similar to the translation dictionary and glossary, but only focuses on the namespace name itself. If you defined the matching terms via config manager, those will be taken over when translating the content from the English instance to the German instance, for example. If you're not defining the namespace name by using the config manager, the original namespace will be selected. It could be that there might be terms which are used in your company that do not have a translation or that do have a fixed term which should be used, and therefore we prevented the automatic translation of the namespace name itself. For using this multi-language feature, you would need the farm edition, and also you need to have a DeepL license key. This key will not be provided by Hallo Welt, but you need to get yourself a license for the DeepL version. For the cloud, there is a little it's a little bit different. So the configuration for the translation transfer needs to be done by HelloVet. For on-prem versions, the configuration will be done automatically by creating language instances. In addition to the language section, we also introduced a so-called ad hoc translation. This feature should support the user by translating the content of a wiki page in real time. There is an automatic mechanism behind, which is activated as soon as the user language differs from the wiki language, which means if you have a English instance where the wiki language is English, and you're a user from Germany, for example, and you change your language by using the user preferences to German, there will be a entry in the right sidebar which says translate to my page. And if you click on it, the page title as well as the page content will be translated to your language so that you can easily read the content and consume the content. Be aware that this is only during the current view in read mode. So if you would refresh your tab, the content will be displayed in the original language again. For using this feature, one needs the BlueSpice Pro edition. So this is available with BlueSpice Pro and not with Farm. And but for activating this feature, one also needs a DeepL license key here because it's the translation service provider we used. We also took a look at the Cognitive Process Designer. One might know it already from former editions. There were some issues with creating a lot of subpages and wasting namespaces. So we thought that it might be meaningful to revise this feature and think about it, how we can make it better. So our goal was to support the user in the creation of BPMN-based processes and to allow the content to be linked in form of process description pages. So this is a little bit new feature in here. The new Cognitive Process Designer now has its own process namespace. So this means each process that will be created will also be stored in this namespace. In the left navigation, we have a new entry point called Processes. And if you click on it, you will find a similar view like to the book overview page. We thought that it might be useful to use this view because users know it. It improves the consistency overall in the system. And user just know this element and know how they can use it. And from there, you're able to create new processes or edit existing processes. Exactly. When it comes to the saving of a process, there is now a little difference. So you can only create process diagrams as you're already used to. You can simply embed them on pages. That's all possible. But there is also another mode where the save dialog asks you if you would like to create the process description pages. If you check this checkbox, there will be subpages created to this process page. And there you can add some documentation about the different process steps. These subpages will be only created for the start and end events as well as for the tasks. We thought that this might be a good standard to use because those are probably the shapes that are most used when creating processes. And in the visual view, there will be also a change if you create the subpages. So all pages, all forms that have a subpage will get a blue outline. So you can easily see at a very first glance that there are subpages created. Exactly. And for example, if you embed a process with subpages on a page. They are displayed with this blue border, and the user can see that there will be some documentation, and he's able to click on the shape itself, so he will be forwarded to the process description page. On the process description page itself, there will also be a small navigation concept. So below the title area, there are incoming and outgoing connections displayed. So the user can just simply click through the whole process and read all the documentation that has been stored on the process description pages. This feature will be included in the BlueSpice Pro edition. We also took a look at our social features. You might know them from former editions. They were very complex and had not that good handling when using them. So we decided to improve and simplify them, and to promote the user friendliness on this on the usage. There is still a block system which allows to create general or user-related blocks. Those are different types of blocks because the user-related blocks, for example, can only be edited by the user themselves or by user with sysop permission. We introduced this with the sysop permission because we thought if permissions in general might change, that at least there's one user who could delete or edit this user-related block if there is content in the wiki which should not be there or needs to be updated, for example. There are also the so-called comments, which will replace the discussion area at the end of a page. It's a similar tool like the discussion wall, so you can open threads there, user can reply, and users will also get notified if there's a new comment, for example. Yes, it's also possible to enable or disable this feature by using the namespace manager. So if you do not want to have this after content area filled with the comments, you can simply disable it by using the namespace manager. And last but not least, we also took a look at the user profile. We improved it a little bit in its design, so it's more lightweight and modern now. We also provide some meaningful and default values which can be inserted and used on other places when, for example, thinking about the content droplet user profile, which can be embedded on a page. You can also choose the values you would like to display there. The requirements here, so the comment streams and SimpleBlog. So for the blogging system and the comments at the end of a page, you would need a Pro edition, and the user profile is already available with the free edition. We also improved our PDF export a little bit. So there is a new and improved PDF export backend used now. It focuses mainly on the existing tools we already had, and we updated it with the development we did in the last year about. There will be support now of SVG files. Also, accessibility is supported or more supported in the exported file. And what is very special about this feature is we had this feature in former editions in the cloud, but now we also provide it in on-prem versions. You're able to create and manage templates or own templates in your wiki now. There will be a special page introduced which lists all the available templates. There will be 2 default templates delivered when upgrading to BlueSpice 5, but you can also create your own templates. You can use the source code editor, for example, if you're more the tech person, and if not, there will also be a dialog which guides you through the creation of new templates. Also for editing existing templates, you can use the dialog, which also includes a little preview. So if you adjust some values there, you will get an instant overview of what has been changed right now. And I think that's a pretty good thing, and it increases the usability here. Last but not least, in the configuration manager, we allow also to set the default templates, which should be displayed in the PDF export dialog. So, for example, if you would like to export a page and you click on the export button, there is the default template, which is set in the config manager, is displayed there. But you can also choose, of course, other available templates from the wiki. This configuration, the config manager, addresses the page export as well as the book export. So if you do have own templates for pages or books, you can simply type in the name there and they will be displayed by default when exporting a book or a page. Yes, and the PDF export is also available with BlueSpice Pro. In addition, we did a lot of further improvements and changes to the BlueSpice 5. Just to name a few, we took a look at our BlueSpice Discovery skin and improved it, so the design is more lightweight and modern now. We also decided to switch back to the plus button instead of the new button, which is now located next to the search. And a little thing which might be a little bit confusing in the beginning when using BlueSpice 5 is that we also decided to remove the cancel button left to the save button. This cancel button is now on the left side of the visual editor toolbar because we wanted to focus on the UX standards here. Yes. There is also a backlink concept introduced now, which should support the user by or should support the user navigation through the wiki. So if you're coming from a special page, let's say you're on special pages and you click on page XY, there will be a little link below the title which says back to. In this case, it's special pages because it might be that you selected the wrong page and you would like to go back really fast to special pages again. And therefore, you just can simply click on this link and get back to the place where you came from. In addition, we also took a look at the search result. We received a feature request here, and we thought that it might be a good idea to also improve the design here a little bit, or the display. This the improvement has been done for the quick search as well as for the advanced search. The search results are now displayed more readable, and it's more clearly stated in which namespace, for example, a page is, and improves also the usability here. In general, the user interfaces have also been improved and standardized, I would say, because we decided from switching from the XJS framework to the OJS Plus framework. OJS Plus, you might know this design already from, for example, the workflows development. So thinking about the workflows overview, there is a pretty clear grid displayed, and this grids are displayed in, or these grids are used in several places over the system, which improves the consistency here. It's also an element users already know, and they know how to handle it. In addition, also the accessibility is improved by using the OJS Plus framework here. We also introduced some new page attributes, such as number of ratings, number of recommendations, or if a page is part of a book. So we can support more queries you would like to use in your wiki. And yes, we did also take a look at the Add to Book dialog. It's an action in the right sidebar. In former versions, you could add a page to a book, but the page was inserted as the last position in the book structure. And from now on, it is possible to directly move the page you would like to add to a book to the position you would like to see. So there is no further work needed after a page has been added to a book, because you can instantly choose the position the page should be displayed. And in the form environment, there is the special content transfer page, which also lists receiving wikis. In former editions, this would need some configuration to display the existing instances here, but from now on there is an automatic linking of existing instances, so there is no additional work necessary for displaying them. That said, I would like to demonstrate already my last slide, because if you're interested in further information, you can visit the following pages. So there's a link to our homepage, which lists some interesting facts about our new version, as well as the help desk and the release notes. Don't be irritated about the look of the URLs for now. They will be moved to the known structure as soon as this version is released.